we have this sponge in our February glam bag, and I wanted to hear a little bit about it because I'm excited. I'm like, I will be getting one. I'm hoping I'm getting one because you have a chance to get it in the glam bag. So tell me about this sponge that you guys have.
So the sponge is funny because that's also, if someone that's followed me for a long time, I was never a sponge user, ever.
Like, I feel like you're like fingers and brushes, right? Yep.
So I never got this. Like I have a million beauty blenders. I would get sent a ton, and I think they're cool, and I'd see everyone using them, and I was like, it's just not. It wasn't ever the thing for me. And then I started working on one, and I was like, oh, I guess I had to be me and make my own version of it, and then that's why I love it now. But what I did was I worked on the shape of the sponge, because I think that's what always never worked for me, was like the way I would hold it and having it have the point on the end. And I like a lot of, like we have a flat edge of our sponge. I probably have.
Ooh.
I have one here. This is like a very loved and.
The green makeup bag. Always. I love it. On brand.
There's a lot of green. Okay. This is like, when you're like, what's in your bag? This has, I think my cats have probably played with this at some point too. But so we have the angle here. And when I do makeup on myself or on other people, like I need that flat edge because I'm doing a lot of stamping, and the stamping didn't feel like it was an even distribution with the pointed side.
Yep.
And so once I got this, then everything just kind of works, right? Like it's easy to hold, it's easy to use. And I don't have the outer carton, but it's really cool because I also created this little, it looks like a little egg plastic thing that has holes in it. So you can store it in the little house for it, and it doesn't spread. It also helps dry out the sponge. I think that's the other misconception. If you don't know, you have to dampen your sponge. You have to.
Yes.
You have to, because you're also wasting product if you don't dampen your sponge. So I think I still am shocked to hear, even my best friend that, is an avid CIELE wearer, I'm like, she's like going through 4 bottles of Tint and Protect to my one. I'm like, how are you going through it so fast? She's like, I don't know, babe. I'm just like, I do that and then I do the sponge, and I'm like, you're using the dry sponge and it's like pulling back all the product, and so you're using more product. And so we've had to educate a little bit on sponge usage.
Yep, dampen it. Yeah.
Dampen that sponge.
Even when you were pressing it, it looks so like fluffy. The bounce is like so nice. I'm sure it feels so wonderful on the skin when you're using it. Are you mainly using it for creams? Can you use it for powders? Is it like, what do you recommend?
So the way that I use it is I still always start with fingers. So I'm never
a dip.
I'm never a dipper. This is like my blending tool. So I use it more for blending. For our Tint and Protect, I apply that all with my fingers. Literally I slap it on like I'm putting on a serum.
Yep.
Just all over. And then I dampen my sponge and go in and do the blending. And that just kind of like softens everything. Same, I'm still using brushes when I'm applying my sculpting product or my blush. But then the sponge is kind of my last step. Blender perfector.
Oh, it's like the complement to anything.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know if you've seen this, but because I just have my makeup bag in my lap. So this is something also really fun. This is called the mini blender sponge.
It's so cute.
So this is the cutest thing in the world. But this has been a really fun innovation that I worked on with our concealer launch. So this is like, if you are covering sunspots, you are covering acne, anything that you need to like really pack it in, this tool is your best friend, and it's just so little, and it can get in all the little like nooks and crannies, and having a handle to it is just, it makes life easy.
Like the angle you can come, because especially I was talking about covering a pimple, and it's like the first thing you feel like you want to do is kind of like you want to flatten it so that you can like, exactly. Yeah. And so that feels like a good compliment where you're like, okay, I can get the spot, I can really press it in to get that flat coverage.
And now to confuse all of you, I don't dampen this. So like, but that's because this tool to me is made to really pack on product. So I'm not using it so much to blend. I'm like packing it.
Yeah, you're building it up. You're using it to just pack build.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Are you hitting